Welcome to the Logan Fields Podcast. Today I have Jamie Tompkins with me, Emmy Award-winning previous news anchor, former chief of staff of the police at Seattle, and now a podcast host. Jamie, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, let's get into this. First, let's talk about your podcast for a minute. Tell me about it.
It's called Respectfully.
Great name.
Yeah. The reason that we chose that name is because I still do actually get DMs from viewers just from having done news all across the country. And people will just randomly reach out to me and usually send lots of inappropriate stuff. But what they do is they preface it with the word respectfully. And then, proceed to send whatever message they are, they're trying to send. So one of the members of the production team here said that should be the name of the podcast. It'll be called Respectfully with a strike through because it's,
love it.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah,
so,
I love it.
Yeah.
Real quick then, what's your advice to women who are getting these bullshit messages from people?
Oh, block them.
Block
them or, put them. I love that Instagram now lets you put things in different boxes.
Right,
so there's people that go to I think it's the general box that I don't even, it's like if you get sent there, you've been sent into some other orbit that has nothing to do with me. So
what is the best way for somebody to say hi on Instagram?
Be normal and say hello, right? I mean, the only ones that I block are just like the inappropriate ones. But usually, for the most part though, people are pretty funny. And I think it's pretty cool that social media has allowed me to stay in touch with viewers from all around the country that I haven't, let's say, worked in their market in 10 or 15 years, but we're still in touch and they're still following all the stuff that I'm doing. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, it is.
Let's start to talk about that. So you've won multiple Emmy Awards.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm Chef Tati. I'm the App Guy's chef. And I wanted to bring in some red wine just to start off the conversation. It's medium bodied. It's warm. It's relaxing.
That's so sweet. Thank you.
Yes, of course. Also, if it's okay with you, I wanted to make something like from my own personal background with like a Latin inspired kind of recipe.
Yeah.
So does that sound like something
sounds
you'd
amazing.
enjoy? Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get that started.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Nice. Okay, so you've won multiple Emmys, but we were talking yesterday as we were kind of preparing for this, and it's a pretty interesting context because when I hear Emmys, I'm like, fuck yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And you kind of reframed it for me, and you were like, essentially one of the things you said is something to the effect of every Emmy I had, somebody died. And, oh man, that's so difficult and interesting. You've done some really difficult stories. So I'm curious about a number of things.
I sent you one. What did you, because I wanted you to have like a real understanding of like the gravity of some of the topics. What did you think of that one?
I thought it was incredibly intense. My assistant said she had to stop watching it because it was like too difficult. It was very intense. And that was just me watching a recap of it. You were there and you knew these people. That I really admire doing that and telling those kind of stories for people. First of all, on the one you showed me, do you mind recapping for people and let's kind of talk through that as a case study?
Yeah. So that one was a story where I knew the family for years because I had covered the Oso landslide, which was the biggest natural disaster in U.S. history. 43 people died.
Yeah.
One of them was a woman named Summer. And I told her story with her brother and her mom, Ray. And years later, I've always stayed in touch with them, tried to, help the families involved raise money for the memorial that is now there at the site. Ray reached out to me. I want to say it was like 5 years later, maybe 7 years later. And it was Ray and her son, Dane. And it was a story pitch essentially saying, my husband is dying, he's on hospice, and I need you to document his death.
Yeah.
And she explained how hard it was to get the medication in order to pass away at home when you choose. And in Washington State, it's called the Death with Dignity Act. And so her goal was to share Dean's story and his struggle.
Yeah.
And by sharing those really intimate moments and those final moments in his life, the goal was to try to get a bill pushed through the House and the Senate to allow people to get that medication faster. Because if you don't understand, then you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And I had no idea until I was there, in the house with them. So we agreed to tell that story. And a really good friend of mine, a photographer by the name of Michael Driver, I asked him, I was like, listen, this is a really important story. Will you do this with me? He agreed. We went to the house, and it's what you saw there in that video. So
yeah, was that your first Emmy?
No.
Okay.
But it was one of the stories that like had the most impact on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you're there for someone's final moments.
For sure.
And the fact that they it wasn't like they just randomly emailed news outlets. They reached out to me personally and said, like, please come do this.
That's special.
And Ray said, the reason why I'm asking you is because of how you handled Summer's story. I mean, think about what this family had been through, right? Like, it's just so much loss, and they're such good people. And the fact that over the course of how many years, like, that they would remember the one story I told for them and then say, listen, we need you to do it again.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful. It was hard. For sure.
Yeah.
It was hard to watch.
It was hard to tell. And it was really hard to write. I just remember like crying through the whole process.
Yeah.
Because you got to go back and log all the video and log all the sound, and then select what bites you want. Then you have to find your theme for the story itself. I chose time because we never have enough time, and he was running out of time. And also it was taking too much time to get the medication. So like that's how my mind, when I go into a story, I need to know what the theme is. And then you just start sewing together your tracks, your sound bites, and creating a story for people you want to leave them with a feeling, right?
Right.
Yeah.
When you I'm assuming that would have been received as a controversial story too, like morally, right?
I don't think there was much reaction in a negative way. I mean, it was, if there was, it wasn't sent to our station.
It was just obvious to people that this was a good thing.
The reaction that I got from that story was people talking about like, wow, that's Jamie, that must have been so hard, because it was so hard for them to watch, but like they couldn't turn it off. And they couldn't imagine also being there too. Because, we had to take breaks. He's changing. He's getting sick. It was a really very long emotional day just with them. And then to relive it going through the video for hours and hours while I'm writing it, that's a whole other process. So the feedback that we received from people was just that they were heartbroken for the family, and that they just, they wanted to see people be able to get that medication faster.
Yeah. Do you feel like it was some of your better work, or was it just a good story?
Oh, no. I mean, I felt like there was a reason why I was being asked to do it.
Love it.
Rated, it wasn't a random request.
Yeah.
And for me, like those kind of stories, like I'm just channeling. Like for me, it just comes from, I'm the vessel to get the story out. And so, that's how I look at it.
Yeah. When that's really interesting. I mean, clearly you fine-tuned a way to articulate things well, but you're not just articulating, it's a whole story. There's many elements to it. What are some things you're thinking through because for so many of us in business, which is this audience would be like a lot of 7-8 figure business owners.
Yeah.
Stories matter a lot.
Yeah.
And,
but business is about people. The news is about people. That's the common denominator, people.
Love
and if you don't know how to interact with people, if you don't know how to listen to people, like, in news, they call us talking heads because we're just sitting at a desk and we're talking for hours and hours.
Right.
But your greatest skill as a journalist is the ability to listen. Yeah. Because it's not if you're not conveying the message correctly, then you haven't done your job, and you've done a disservice to the person who is trusting you to amplify their voice. if you've done it incorrectly.
How do you think through whether you're conveying something well?
I think it's just a matter of like really spending time with the people that like the voices in the story, the people in the story. Because if you think about it, if you didn't have the people, you're just reading the newspaper on the air, and that's really boring, right? So you need the cast of characters to bring it to life. And it's no different than the business world, right? When you're running a company, you've got all kinds of people. They have all different personalities, different beliefs, different opinions, and they're voicing them. Yeah. So, you're living that same kind of story. It's just we're putting it on TV.
For you, how would you evaluate the difference between a great storyteller and a bad storyteller?
I am a writer, and I've always been a writer. Okay. So like I had my first piece of writing published when I was 9 years old in a book. And I've just like, that's just what I do. I'm a writer. And so I've always considered myself a writer on television, not like a TV personality,
I dig it. Okay. Yeah.
And so when I see a story that I believe that's a good storyteller, it's because they put that thought in. It's not just, we're just going to string together a bunch of sound bites. There's always like, in a bad story, it's just a bunch of disconnect, right? And when I look at a story and you're creating the script for the editor to work off of, I'm selecting the shots. Like I'm saying, I'm writing to the shots. And so when they write to the video, because otherwise, what's the point of having your photographer there if you're just going to ignore what he shot, right? Yeah. You're both telling a story together. It's a team effort.
Okay.
And so you want to write to the video, but you need to find a theme as well. Like, what is the story about? I love to bring something full circle and wrap it around, right? So when we start with something, we're talking about, in that story you watched, there's a clock that's ticking.
Yeah.
And we're talking about time.
Yeah.
And how long it took for them to get together as a couple. And then how long it took for his diagnosis. Yeah. How long it's taking too much time for the medication. And then we end with Ray talking about their relationship and how there's just never enough time with the people that we love. Yeah. Right. And so that process that you have to like really sit there and like immerse yourself into the story and care, to put that time and effort in. So that's how I separate like a great story and a great storyteller from just a report. And there's news reports, and then there are stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I have a bit more trouble with is I feel like I'm decent on the hooks. So I feel like I can have trouble landing the plane.
Okay.
Yeah. How do you, and that was clearly important to you. You said bring around full circle. Another way of saying land the plane.
Yeah.
How do you, first of all, are you thinking about your audience a lot, and how are you imagining how they will receive this?
No.
You're not. Okay. No. That's really interesting.
I'm thinking about the people who have trusted me, put their trust in me to tell this story. What is it? What are they asking for? What's the situation? How am I going to convey it? Right. Because this is the platform, right? Yeah. How am I going to amplify their voice and make sure that it's, people are hearing them correctly and they're not being misinterpreted? To me, that's the most important thing. And then to give there's an art to it, to give it a soul. And that's what that is. That's just me pouring myself. That's where I'm in the story, but it's not about me, right? But by really focusing on the people that are involved, I pour my soul into the writing. And so that's what people are connecting with when they see the final product, right? And then you do that with your, I've worked with some really incredible photojournalists, and they get like, when you've worked together for years, they know your process, their process, and you have to collaborate. Yeah. If it's not about me and my vision or just their vision. It has to be our vision, because it's what he's seeing, I'm speaking to, right? So we become one journalist. Yeah. And when you can find the right chemistry with a photographer as a journalist, that's money.
Is that hard to find?
It is. Yeah. It is, because not everybody's got the same gifts. Yeah. I feel like there's writers and there's storytellers, right? There's reporters who can just give you slides. Yeah. They can show you bullet points.
They can read off the teleprompter.
Well, even if they wrote the story themselves, they can give you a report.
Okay.
There's no soul in that. I want a story. Give me a reason to care. That's why I'm tuning in. And so that requires soul.
Yeah.
And the same thing with photographers. You can have a videographer. Well, they can shoot anything. But if I need a photojournalist, I need a storyteller.
Yeah.
And that's what so I'm pretty good at identifying really quick, like who's got those skills. And yeah, I've been blessed to work with some really talented people around the country.
That's pretty cool. Do you feel that you're very particular with those you choose to work with?
Yes.
Yeah.
But so are they.
Good.
So are they.
Yeah.
They won't work with certain reporters just because they know that the script's going to be crap. And they're like, I can't, I can polish a turd only so far.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how beautiful I make this. If the writing's not there, it's just going to, it's going to flop.
Does that ethos bleed into other parts of your life, being particular about the people you work with?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also like a perfectionist.
Okay.
Just naturally. I'm very I like my ducks in a row.
Yeah.
And I'm a planner. And it's funny because I just was reading a post that my girlfriend shared, and I actually just had her as a guest on my podcast. She's a communications expert. Her name's Renee Marino. And she shared a thing about, not being perfect, like dropping perfectionism. And that is something that I struggle with because for me, naturally, and especially in news, that is valued, that is praised because they want you to be perfect.
Totally makes sense.
And like perfect, I mean, they want you to report from, some crazy situation, not a hair out of place. Like you better look amazing. You better say everything perfectly. And, whatever's going around you, whatever the scene is the scene. But it's like they expect a certain thing. Like I've literally had news directors tell me, watching a demo reel, and he said, "Oh, did you not have time to put your eyelashes on?" And I'm like, I'm at the scene of a shooting, sir. Like, I don't know. This doesn't require eyelashes.
Right.
That's not why people are watching. Like, there were people that were murdered.
Yeah.
So that kind of feedback, kind of like it's like, do you want the story or do you want
the aesthetic?
Yes. Yeah. So it's kind of like, it's a weird dichotomy.
Yeah.
And I think they're getting better about that in news.
Okay. But there's also an upside to having that emphasis, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a visual medium. And if you're going to stop, like people stop. That's why the sets are so bright. That's why the sets are mostly blue. That color works on television. Where do you see a news set that's green? You don't, because it's not attractive. It's not going to make people stop.
Yep.
And that's the whole goal, is to get them to watch past like 3 seconds, past 10 seconds. And if we can get you to 15 seconds, and if we can get you to that commercial break, that means more money, because commercials those are what keep the lights on in the newsroom, right?
Right. Yeah.
So if we can prove that a viewer stayed, because we can track it minute by minute. When did they fall off? What story was it?
Yeah.
Oh, whose story sucked the most?
Were
right?
you paying attention to that data?
Oh yeah,
closely?
I geek out on that stuff.
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't even like I didn't have to, but especially when I was anchoring full time, you do live and die by those numbers. It's important. And so, yeah, I think it's interesting how you can, like, the metrics of it all, and how you can gauge and measure like what people deem valuable, and when they're like, yeah, okay, next, click.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like you have a sense of what pulls people in as you're looking through that data? So in my world in business, obviously, for reference, I'm spending $150, $200 a year on content.
Okay.
And that's aside from other marketing stuff and all of that. One of the things that matters a lot to us is when we're looking at something, that 3 seconds. How many go past the 3 seconds? But in social media, and we're about to take this a lot more seriously, you can do multiple edits of the same thing.
Yeah.
Test it, put them against each other, and see what the winner is. Like, we just did one video. I think it collectively got 3 million views.
Wow.
It took 17 edits of the same video.
What was like the money? Like what was the?
We should talk to Kamal after, and he'll tell us. He's the one that did the video.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just the dancing monkey.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he did it. But you can't do that on the news. You can't do 17 edits. So you're looking at the data, and then you're trying to reverse engineer so that you can make it pop the next time.
And it has to be legally sound, because if you put something out there and your station gets sued, you get fired. Like the attorney that represents the station doesn't represent, they're not there to represent you. The station has to take action. That action would be to, either terminate or discipline the person that put that story out. So There's so many different facets. Like you have to dot your I's and cross your T's, make it look perfect, make it pop, catch their attention. And you have to, every day you're coming in, it's not like you get weeks to work on this stuff. Every day you come in and you're assigned a story, and that is your story, and you will be presenting that at 4 or 5 p.m. and then 6 p.m. and then 8 p.m. and 9 p.m.
You're doing the
10
same
p.m.
story multiple times in a row?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. It's like the prime story.
Right.
Being communicated. Okay.
Yeah. And so if you've got, let's say you have 3 reporters day side, 3 reporters night side, they're going to only merge on a couple different shows. You'll have 6 to work with, but for the most part, you're only working with 3 reporters. And if you have 6 hours worth of news to do, that's not enough people. So you need to be able to fill, and viewers aren't tuning in and watching a full hour, right? So you don't know if they tuned in at 4:45 and maybe that they caught the top of the 5, or if they tuned in at 6 o'clock, but they only watched until 6:15. So maybe they'll tune back in at 10 and see a story at 10:30 that wasn't on earlier. Like it's just a weird. It feels like you're like. Like those games on the boardwalk where you're trying to they just keep, and it just doesn't, it's never like, oh, that's what worked or that's the formula. It's just kind of like every day different. Yeah.
You have to have a little bit of intuition, I suppose.
Yeah.
When you were doing, so you're presenting the same story, like what, 4 or 5 times a night?
Oh yeah.
So by
some shows, they'll re-rack every half hour. So
wow.
Yeah. And some stations will do that live, like they'll do a live to tape version and then just keep airing the taped version. So it'll say recorded earlier. But some stations will just do it live. We would do it live. Yeah.
So that 5th time, is it different than the first time for you?
No, I mean, by then I probably memorized everything.
Cool.
But it was helpful because sometimes you always have technical issues, right? The prompter dies. Well, guess what? The show doesn't stop. You got to keep going. So you have to know the stories. And you've got a computer in front of you that tells you just the title of the story.
Yeah.
Well, if I have the title and I'm a good journalist, I can tell you, okay, so what happened here was, and you can give them the highlights and the bullet points and keep going while the crew is working on trying to fix the prompter. Because you're looking at a black screen, a black monitor, and you're still talking to the viewer, right?
I remember that. I'm sure you remember that old Bill O'Reilly video where it breaks. He's like, this thing fucking sucks, and he just loses his shit.
Yeah, but I think any journalist that has like anchored a show, like they will understand, it will resonate, because you feel like you're just, getting bent over the desk. Like you're live on the air, and it's just like you're on an island alone, and it's like, sweet Jesus. And hopefully you have a co-anchor, because then at least you can play off each other. Sometimes you're solo, you're flying solo, and there's no one talking to you, no one telling you where to go. The meteorologist is nowhere to be seen. Like, we can't toss to weather. Like there are situations where you just have to be resourceful. And I think those are like the most terrifying and exciting times, at least for me.
Yeah.
But it teaches you something. It makes you better when all this shit falls apart around you, because it happens all the time. And it is also really fun when you do have a co-anchor with you, because it's like, you're just like, all right, here we go. It's like you're on a roller coaster.
Have you ever had to co-anchor with somebody that the vibe just was no bueno?
No, I've been really lucky. Like the people I've worked with were incredible. And especially my co-anchors at the Fox in Seattle, they were just the best of the best.
Nice.
And a little bit older than me, so they really mentored me as well, too.
You were young to be in that chair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because my co-anchor he was doing news. Well, he already had his first career. Like, he started his career when I think it was in end of middle school, beginning of high school. So like, there was a huge age gap, but he was also a mentor to me. And, just really incredible at what he does.
Yeah.
And also just a good person. Like we're good friends.
Nice.
And very much like a big brother. So I learned a lot from him. Yeah.
How old were you when you got your first Emmy?
Oh my gosh, I can't remember. I was in my 30s.
Yeah. So really young.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And what was that feeling like? Again, I know the circumstance wasn't good. Right. But you were also doing what you planned to do, and you were mastering it. So how did that feel? And I think it was, I was surprised because I didn't apply for it. Like, my news director had pushed for that to happen. Oh, yeah. And it was something that he was really into, like the Emmys, like, it's like the Super Bowl for the news, right? And it's fun and it's good for the stations. It's good to be able to show off your work for the year, and you have your
your peers review it and select it.
Yeah.
I just never was into it. It just wasn't something I was doing. But the station was like, well, we're going to pay for it. Because it costs a lot of money to you pay to play.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Okay.
And so, but if the station believes in your work, they will pay for the costs. They will pay for the statue itself is a couple $100.
Sure.
So, I was surprised, but I already knew, like, I don't know how do I want to word this? Like, I already won. Like, I already did the work. When I put that story to bed, I already knew, like, I nailed it.
Nice.
And
yeah.
I knew because I wouldn't have been able, it wouldn't have aired had I not. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because I tweak it and I'm not just watching it visually. I'm listening to it as if it's a song. Like, there's a rhythm to the story as well. Like, when you really get down to the, like, the details of, like, the fine tuning of something, it should sound like music, like, regardless of what, and you'll know when the beats are off and it's like you have to make an adjustment or like, oh, I need a nap pop here. Like, all of that stuff, that's the stuff that just, like, excites me. And that's the part that's, like, the hardest because you just, like, labor over it. Like, it's like birthing a child. Like, I don't have children, but my stories are my kids. That's how I see it.
That's really beautiful. Like, you love the craft. And
oh yeah.
Tell me about your writing.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like that's really at the heart of a lot of things.
Yeah.
Are you planning? Did you say you already wrote a book?
No. So I had my first piece published.
Yeah.
In a book when I was 9 years old.
That's cool.
Which is just, it's kind of funny to me, but it was something about my cat. I don't know. I just have always loved writing. I love words. I love storytelling because I love how it brings people together, and I like how it can leave someone with a feeling. Like, you change someone when you give someone a really good story and you make them feel something. You've changed them. You've touched them.
Yeah.
You've left an imprint.
Yep.
And that's really powerful. Mm-hmm. And all you did was use a pen. Your weapon is a pen. A computer. You know.
Yeah.
And I love amplifying people's voices because the stories aren't about. It's not about me. I'm sharing somebody else's story. I'm saying, hey, look over here.
So you're, like, very drawn to biographical situations.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because I feel like you're helping someone. You know, I love people. This is obvious. It's a people business. So, and every day you're talking to somebody new. You never know what's going to happen. You could get assigned a story at 9 a.m., but guess what? Shit's going down at 5. You got to drop it and pivot and be able to say, okay, we'll go back to this story tomorrow, but right now we need to go figure out what's happening here.
Yeah.
So I think I love the adrenaline of it. I love the scramble. Yeah. I love the, oh shit, like, what are we going to do? You know,
it's a fun challenge. I'm sure.
I love challenges.
Yeah.
I love just being able to be resourceful. Like, yeah, I think, what is that saying? Hold my beer, right? Like, that's how I would, that's pretty much how I would feel when they would be like, oh God, this is going to be really hard because you guys are over here. We need you to get over here. And we need you to be live at the top of the 5 and know everything that's happening at that situation. Yeah. And I'm like, all right. I'll be there at 4:59, right? You know?
Nice.
So, I don't know. I think, and if you're working with a photographer that has that same attitude, and I mean, it's money. Yeah.
You're just playing jazz on life at that point.
Yeah.
I dig it. Yeah. That's a lot of fun. Is it much different for you? It must be transitioning to podcasting.
It's different in the sense that, and I'm still getting comfortable with it, using my voice for what I think, because, you know, in news, there's a difference between, and people don't often realize this. And that's why I'm really selective about what kind of news I watch. People don't realize there are journalists and then there are commentators. And sometimes even the journalists themselves don't realize that they've slipped into a commentary, like that they're commentating. And we're not asking for your opinion or suggestions or innuendo. We just need the facts, ma'am, right? Just the facts, because it's for the viewer to decide.
Yeah.
You decide how you feel about this. This is who we spoke to. And I think for me, that's just something that, like, that's really important to me, is making sure that it's just like the facts in the story, and that I'm not putting, adding my 2 cents. And in podcasting, it's a conversation.
Yeah, it's about your 2 cents.
It's about your 2 cents. But, and I'm still I'm still interviewing people and trying to pull their 2 cents out of them, which is so natural to me, right?
Yeah.
But it is uncomfortable, but I like being uncomfortable. I think, is that weird?
No, I was on a trip in Dallas the other day, and there's a group of us, but I was sitting next to one of my friends, and we're like drinking Macallan and smoking fucking great cigars. She was like, "What's it like to have this? Is this nice?" And I forget what I said, but what I was thinking is, it'd be kind of nice to go to zero and just have to fucking start all over. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It is fun.
It is.
The challenge is fun. I think you have to there's a certain type of person that sees it as a game, that's able to not take it all so seriously. The challenge is fun. Now you really young, you got to the top of your career, and we were talking about this on the phone yesterday. And you said essentially you didn't feel like there was a big challenge left.
Well, because it's like when you become the main anchor.
Yeah.
There's really nowhere to go unless you leave. And I'm like, well, it's not that I want to leave and go work with a different team. Like, I love the team that I'm with. I'm just done with this chapter. I had done this for 20 years. I started on the East Coast and made my way to the West Coast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So sometimes people will make the jump to a national reporter. You see people flying all over the country, but they live out of suitcases. That's a lifestyle that I'm not interested in.
Got it.
Okay. It is very hustle and, run and gun, but it's stressful. You're not home for holidays. It's a grind, right? And you have to accept that going into it. Otherwise, you're going to be difficult to work with. And so I knew that wasn't for me. And those people who choose that path then sometimes can get an anchor job at a national market because they're already in that national circuit. But I have friends who have done it, and they're just like, you know what, this lifestyle isn't what I thought it was. It's not. There's no glamour to it. It's not glamorous. It's hard.
Yeah.
And you have to. It just requires grit and resilience, and that's what you're running on. And so for me, I just felt like, okay, I don't want to do this, but I have these skills that I've developed for 20 years.
Yeah.
I knew something would be worth it, right? Like because I had offers like, would you come be our communications director? Will you come, whatever. And nothing ever felt like there was a mission. Like the mission was, I didn't feel like I aligned with it, or it just wasn't big enough, right? Yeah. And I was looking for something with impact. So
that's really interesting to me because someone like you, also that young, right? You were a top 1% earner. Yeah. Like income wise at that point. You, I assume, had 7-figure offers to go somewhere else or some damn near close to it. And you chose public service. Yeah. Which couldn't have been an amazing salary.
News. Oh, right? No, I took a pay cut.
Of course you did.
Yeah, it was a big one.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But news is public service. It's about public safety sometimes, a lot of times. And I see news as a public service. If they're doing it right, it is a public service.
Well, was it not difficult, though, going from such high income to like the police?
No, I mean, it was still a decent salary, right? Okay. And I was just in a position where I was like, I can do this. Cool. It'll be meaningful. I didn't think I would do it for forever, right? Yeah. I didn't see it as like, I'm going to die in this role. But I also knew I wasn't going to die in the anchor chair. Like this is not it. And I just knew I was supposed to use my voice for more than just what I was doing. Yeah. But 20 years in news had prepared me for something
for sure
new. I just didn't know, what it was going to be.
And so you became chief of staff of the police of like one of the most known police departments in the country. Yeah. 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 So what was that like? First talk about the transition. Did you get that offer and go right into it from news?
No, it took several months just because my station didn't, they wanted me to stay. There were lots of talks back and forth because, when you're serving as the main anchor, you're on the air for hours and hours and hours every night. And viewers become accustomed to you. Like you're in their
the team is integrated.
Yeah, and we have great chemistry. Like you can't buy chemistry.
Right.
And you can tell when people are vibing and when they're not, like, because it's magic when you're like, I mean, me and my co-anchor, we would fist bump on the air, like because we're rocking and rolling, right? Even though some of the worst things are coming out of your mouth, right?
Yeah.
Because we have to talk about death and destruction and bad stuff. But when you're doing it with good people, that makes all the difference.
Yep.
And so that was he gave me his blessing. I spent months talking to my managers about it. And, eventually they were like, we support you. But they wanted me to stay. Yes. Of course. Yeah. And I'm still in touch with them. I love them dearly. Yeah. They're like family to me. So.
If somebody invited you to come and be like, just share the news for one day, would you go back and do that?
It depends on if it's them, of course.
That'd be fun,
I love
right?
them. Yeah.
So then you go into a police department.
Yeah.
I mean, what a different vibe.
Oh, that night and day. Yeah, it was like upside down world. But it was, it's a great mission. Like my grandpa was a cop. I remember him, like my grandparents would watch me because my parents worked multiple jobs when I was little. And so like I would get my grandpa's holster, like help him like get ready for his shift. So I've always like supported law enforcement. Like my family's lots of military members. And it's always just been something that I value and I support, like with no question, right? And when that offer came through, I was like, this is meaningful. This is, there's a mission here. This department is not just this department, but all departments are struggling ever since 2020. And Seattle's a big city, but it's a small city. But it's not different than any other city. They've got a housing crisis, drug crisis, mental health crisis,
homelessness.
And and the police department has an identity crisis, right? And so that's every department since 2020. They're trying to figure out, who are we? How do we serve
why
people?
Since 20, you're saying police are having an identity crisis since 2020. What was the turning point?
George Floyd.
Okay.
And so that movement, the protest that took place in Seattle, it was really, really rough for everyone involved. And the department, just like so many, didn't know how to tell its story. Officers know how to tell you, okay, well, think about a press conference.
Yeah.
Are they telling you a story or are they giving you a report?
To a report, yeah.
Right. And so, but if you want to be able to connect with the community that you serve, you have to be able to tell your story. Yeah. Because people need to, how are you supposed to connect with bullet points, right? Yeah. And no pun intended, right? But what my goal was, I saw it as like, okay, I'm going to help them tell their story. Yeah. We're going to make sure that there's access from the comms department to the reporters, to the media, because there was a lot of like stonewalling, it's not a unique story to that city. Like it happens everywhere. Yeah. But when you have the right leaders, when you have the right people in place who understand, like, no, we need to be more like pull the curtain back. This is what's going on. These are your tax dollars. We are serving you. Yeah. And also, this is who this person is. This is like, introduce them. They're not just some random person wearing a uniform, driving a car that has a logo on it. These are people in your community. These are your neighbors. This is your son's father. This is your, mom's friend. And when you make it less about a badge and more about like who's behind the badge. Yeah. That's the connection that they
makes
were
sense.
Right.
Humanizing.
Yeah.
Them.
Yeah.
Do you know what's interesting about this to me is that's such a huge undertaking because, like you said, things turned, but also, I'm just curious on your thoughts of like how police can be dealing with this kind of stuff and how people that have identity crisis or organizations can deal with this. Because, for example,
it's not unique to a police department.
It's not.
And that's why communications, that's never going out of business. Like the comms department's never going away because you need to have at least one person who understands your brand, your messaging, and how to get it out. Like, how are we going to reach people? And it's not police department. It's any entity, your company. You were talking about how you measure the metrics and how the content that you're putting out.
Yeah.
You're doing it for a reason because you need to connect with people so they understand.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Logan when I need X, Y, and Z.
Uh-huh. Yeah. With the police specifically, people often, how do I say this? You're driving, you get pulled over. It's more typical that you get somebody.
You meet the police in the worst day of your life. And that's no different than a news reporter. Most days I'm meeting people on the worst day of their life.
Yeah.
It's not because it's some joyous celebration. We're not going to weddings, right? So it's because there was some horrible accident at the wedding and now we're there to tell the story. That's the honest truth.
Right.
And so what I think that there's a very parallel line between first responders and people who work in the news, who work in the field. Because you're reporting to scenes. Sometimes you get there before the police do.
Yeah, I was an EMT in college.
Okay. And so, you have to have the same skill set as a first responder because you have to be able to compartmentalize what horrible thing is going on around you.
Yeah.
And mental health is a big issue in newsrooms, and a lot of newsrooms don't talk about it. And there are really good news directors, though, who recognize that and take steps to address it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, so I've seen reporters go home just crying because they're just so overwhelmed with what they just witnessed,
Yeah.
And it's like they're damaged, and then they're not addressing it. They're just coming back the next day and doing it again.
Yeah.
Until they burn out.
Do you have like a framework of how you deal with things like that? Because that comes up for everybody in some circumstance. It comes up in family tragedy. It comes up in business. The market's turning, whatever. Things are super difficult.
Right. Do you mean like?
How do you not let that take you in the wrong direction?
Oh, I think you need to be able to compartmentalize.
Okay.
So it's just your way of protecting yourself, right? And
are you naturally good at that, or did you develop that?
I developed it because you have to. Like, it was taking too much of a toll. I'm an empath, and so that's how I'm able to write these things.
Yeah,
and
that makes sense. People. You're able to pull out the soul of a thing.
I'm feeling them,
yeah,
right? And it's a lot, and I had to learn how to cleanse that, and also kind of stiff arm certain things where it's like, okay, I'm not letting that in, or I'm not taking this home tonight. Right. And I think the ones that have longevity and make it past 5 years, 6 years in the business, they're the ones that are able to compartmentalize and say this isn't happening to me. I am just reporting on it. See dog, say dog. I'm just eyes, ears. I'm telling you what it smells like out here, whatever's going on, but it's not happening to me.
Yeah.
And so if you can make that clarification, for yourself, you're just doing your job. Now it's mechanics, right?
Yeah.
And it becomes muscle memory.
And I suppose you're kind of developing the skill set of not letting thoughts ruminate.
Yes.
Too much.
Yeah.
Or not thinking of certain things, which I guess everybody does to some extent.
Of course.
Because for example, basically anybody watching this is probably within 15 minutes of a children's hospital where there's kids dying of cancer. But they're not thinking about it.
Right.
And we can't think about all the horrible stuff all the time.
But it also when you just think about your job, right? I'm sure there's things that are shitty about your job that you don't love. That's for everyone, right? But if you focus on that, then that's all you're gonna. That becomes the thing. That becomes the storyline and the narrative in your head. And is the news hard? It's not glamorous. It's it sucks some days.
Yeah.
But I would reframe it as I get to do this. How many main anchors are there in a city?
Not many.
Right. And if it were easy, everybody'd be doing it. Right.
Yeah.
So I get to do this is how I would sit down, even regardless of how frustrating the day was, who I was mad about some certain script or facts being wrong in something. And I would just focus on the fact that it's I'm one of 6 people that are literally sitting down in this chair tonight. We all start at the same time, right? 59 before the hour. And there's only 6 of us that are doing this in the city.
Right.
it's such a micro network, but it's a worldwide network, but it's so small.
Right.
And so like when you're able to like pull back the lens and kind of look at it from that perspective, one of my girlfriends has a quote on her Instagram. She's a really good reporter, and it's all it says is her name, and then it says it's not what you're looking at, it's what you see. But it's what you choose to see.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. I think that the Stoic philosophers talk a lot about this kind
Love
of
it.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah. You into that?
Big, yes.
Okay.
Big fan.
I actually, I had a short form podcast years ago, and I actually interviewed Ryan Holiday.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow. What was that like?
So now I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Okay. And I read Stoic philosophers like multiple times a week.
Okay.
I didn't know who he really was at the time.
Okay.
So that's the answer, is I didn't know what I had in front of me.
Sometimes that's great though.
Yeah.
Actually, that happened to me once when I interviewed somebody from Guns N' Roses.
Oh, no.
I had just moved to Seattle, and
do you remember which one it was?
It was what's his name? I think he's the guitarist or the bassist.
Axl Rose?
Not Axl. It's not Slash.
The other one.
He has blonde hair. It's long.
I know who you're talking about for
about?
sure. Yeah.
Duff McKagan.
Yeah. Okay.
What a wonderful person.
Yeah.
This man. Okay. So I'm doing a story on an arena, right? And I see they're like, just get anybody who's coming out of this meeting. It was a private meeting, and everyone wanted to know what was going to happen with this arena as it being built. And so I'm there with my photog, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy is coming out. He's wearing this motorcycle jacket, just really like well dressed, like great style. Walks to a motorcycle on the street. I chase him down because I'm like, he just came out of that meeting. And my photographer's looking at me like, Jamie. And he knew who he was.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just like, sir, sir. He turns around. I say, we're doing a story on the arena. Would you be willing to talk to us about the meeting that you were just in? He's like, yeah, sure. So I'm like, I flag my photog over. My photographer's like, is this really happening? And I'm just like, this is going to be a good interview. And I say, okay. And the first thing you always say before an interview, please just say and spell your name.
Oh, interesting.
And he's like, Duff McKagan. And he spelled it for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, awesome. And I still didn't know who he was, right? So I'm just asking him arena questions.
Yeah.
And he could not have been lovelier.
Yeah.
He realized I didn't know who he was. But he knew I was doing my job. And he was very kind, and he gave us an interview.
He probably enjoyed not being known for a minute.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then we did the interview. He answered all the questions, and then he got on his motorcycle and he rode away.
That's awesome.
And my photographer was like, Jamie, do you know who that was? And I'm like, he's like, Guns N' Roses. And I'm like, I'm like, all right, let's get this story done. Like, I'm like, we're just doing our job.
Hello, guys. So these are beef and chicken empanadas.
Nay.
Here you
that
go.
looks
Thank you.
good.
Yes, they're definitely a food that makes you feel welcome since they're meant to be shared.
Amazing.
Here's a fork and knife.
Thank you.
So yeah, enjoy, guys.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Obviously, we could talk forever, but we're at the end here. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to try some food together.
Okay.
And I'm going to go through rapid fire questions. First, we'll try it together.
Okay.
But when I start the questions, you can't just take one bite and then start answering questions. We have to
It's gotta
try
be
it
rapid.
out a little bit. Yeah.
You're like, enough with this talking head.
All right, let's try this together.
Okay.
Cheers. Good. Yeah.
Delicious.
I like the chicken one. All right, you ready? Mm-hmm. Morning broadcast or evening news?
Evening news.
Yeah? Why is that?
Because I couldn't wake up for the morning show. Like, it's really hard to put like makeup on and do your hair at 2:00 in the morning.
Oh, that sounds
and then
like a nightmare.
be on the air and act like it's totally normal at 4:30.
Right.
It is hard. Morning shows. I'm just much more of an evening news person. Sorry, I'm choking.
Evening news is more prestigious, right? It's all good.
Evening news, usually that's like morning show makes a lot of money because they have commercial breaks.
Yeah.
Those commercials are usually geared toward, I think the audience for the morning show, they're talking to moms who are getting kids ready for school. At night, the audience, I think, is more male, at least it was in years prior. And that's why you see, like, you're seeing Tesla ads, or you're seeing, like, they're selling different things at night than they're selling in the morning. And in the morning, they're selling diapers. Well, you're not selling diapers to the dad because like the traditional audience would be that, you know, the dad's already at work and the mom's getting the kids ready for school.
Yep.
So that's just kind of how they would create a morning show. That's why in the morning, there's more, the energy's lighter. There's more fluff. Like they tell you about what happened the night before.
Yeah.
But then they bring in fun guests. The energy's great. Loved that part. But also hated the hours, the schedule. It's a lifestyle. You got to be in bed by like 6:30. I mean, yeah, blackout curtains like that. You have to be dedicated to doing that because you want to.
Yeah.
And so I really respect people who do that for years and years. Evening news, it's also hard because you got to be a night owl. You're on the air until 11:35. If there's a football game, you could be on until midnight, 1 a.m. You got to wait, right?
Yeah.
And so, and what if you live 45 minutes from your station? So then you're not home until what time, right? And then and you can't do a TV show for 5 hours and then come home and go to sleep. Like you got to wind down. It's no different than a performer. If you go to a concert, so you're not going to sleep until like 3 a.m., 3:30, you know, and then you wake up a little bit. Like your schedule, your life is a little bit different.
That's interesting.
So you kind of have to like pick your poison. Yeah.
On-air blooper or tech failure?
You mean for me or
like you have to choose one. You're having a pretty big tech failure or a real on-air blooper.
I think an on-air blooper is more fun because that's an opportunity for a moment. And moments in TV are rare. You can't fake a moment, right? So if you have a blooper, like I had a co-anchor who would always, if he didn't know the word, he would make it French. Like he would say it really fast.
Yeah.
And he would give it some sort of French accent or something, you know. And so I think technical stuff then you feel like you're in the hot seat. But a blooper, it's how you react. Like if you fumble something, it's more how do you react to it, and that can create a moment. So
I love that answer. Anchoring solo or co-hosting? I think I know your answer on this.
Co-hosting.
Yeah. Early call time or late night? You already said. Yep. Podcast interview or TV segment? If you're going to be the one being interviewed, would you rather be on a TV segment or a podcast interview?
Podcast.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's just freer, right? And you don't have to worry about, can't say this, can't say that. Like there's just so many more restrictions because they can't, when you're on a live show, it's hard. Like if you used a word that maybe it's going to upset the FCC, right? Yeah. Then they've got to be ready with the
Did that happen to you ever?
Oh, yeah. I had some guy drop his pants behind me when I was doing a report. And then there was a trend where people would come up to you and say a really derogatory phrase. And it happened to me while I was reporting on a young girl who had been kidnapped and murdered. Yeah. And it's like a live shot. And these people, it's just a bunch of kids in a car, but they don't understand what they're crashing, right? Yes, and they don't understand the gravity of like the subject. So, yeah, I've definitely had that.
You love paddle boarding?
I do.
Lake paddle or ocean paddle?
Lake.
Yeah, just calmer. I get that.
And the river. I do like the river as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adventure trip or staycation?
I love a staycation.
Me too.
I'm bougie like all the time. So
we were talking about that before and
I can make anywhere a hotel. Like even just like my home, whatever amenities I love in a hotel, like putting a coffee bar in your bedroom or like a wine bar, like a whole station, like in the master bedroom, like that to me is...
Amenities make life.
They do. So like, why not bring them, like, why not create them yourself? Like, it doesn't just have to be at a hotel. If I could live at a hotel, I would. I love hotels. I'm always like... You could do a residency. Could, right. But it's just something that I enjoy. And I love it.
You know, I've thought of doing that, like there's some nice residencies in Philly and New York. Yeah. I've thought like for 3 months. Yeah. Kind of thing. I'm with you. Big group hangout or one-on-one conversation? I love a one-on-one conversation. Me too. Yeah. I also, though, I have this tendency to like stiff arm people. Like I'm really good at interviewing them. And I get into that muscle memory of like, I control the interview and it just happens. Right. Yeah. But people could talk to me for an hour and think that, oh, wow, we had this hour-long conversation. And then they realize later, like, I don't know anything about her. Yeah, because you asked questions. I ask questions or I can tap dance all around your questions. Yeah. So I'm trying
trying to do less of that and be more aware of like being more open.
Yeah.
And you can only really do that in a one-on-one, I think, setting.
With the right people, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or like I'd go medium, I guess, small groups of the right people at a nice restaurant. One of my favorites. All right, just a couple more questions for you. Documentaries or binge-worthy drama series?
What kind of drama are we talking?
Your pick.
I'd probably have to go documentary.
Yeah.
But
I
will binge a show. Like if Netflix drops something I just discovered this show. It's called Nobody Wants This. It's on Netflix.
I've heard of it. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh my gosh. I just discovered it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, first of all, like I swear the main character, they're female, is me. Like I'm like, I so identify with her.
Yeah.
It's such a good show. So I'm like, I'm probably this weekend going to watch the entire first season because I guess they're going to drop a second season soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's really good.
I'm the same way. All right, last question for you. You like to travel.
Yeah.
Window seat or aisle seat?
Oh, window seat.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, why is that?
Because then I don't have to.
Then you don't have to get up for somebody else.
Right. That's true. And also, I just like to avoid, I feel like by the window, it's my own little space, right? Like I'm not a girl that goes to like the club. Like I don't like being too close to people. I like to just kind of like be on my own. Like I'm very like, I'll wear a hat. I'm like, no eye contact. Like
The downside of first class, if you fly first class a lot, is they overserve people a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And people get drunk. My strategy is Beats headphones.
Yeah.
Hat. Sunglasses.
Same.
The whole time.
Multiple devices.
It's a big.
It could be raining and I'm wearing a hat and sunglasses. And people have asked me about that. And I'm like, it's just so I don't want to interact with anyone.
Yep.
And that's my honest to God answer. Like, I just don't want to talk to anybody. So I've just tried to make it really difficult for somebody to. I'll have the earbuds in, 2 phones, a laptop, all of the things. So it's like, I'm really busy, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just really busy avoiding you.
I'm the same way. Jamie, thanks for being on the podcast. For everybody who wants to find you, they should just look up Respectfully Podcast on YouTube. We'll also tag your Instagram handles here. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. This has been the Logan Fields Podcast. I'll see y'all next time.